A proposed bill would change the way wrongful convictions are handled in the state of Kansas.
Right now, Kansas is one of 18 states that offer nothing if courts get things wrong. The rest, including Missouri, offer compensation. Investigative reporter Angie Racono explains what the proposed legislation would mean.
It means people like Lamont McIntyre would get money for what happened. He spent 23 years in prison for a double murder he didn't do. When a judge recently took another look at the evidence, the current prosecutor simply dropped all of the charges. And then that was it. End of story. A proposed bill would change that, outlining a clear path for compensation, $80,000 a year.
How everybody doing? Oh my God. Fine now, man. I'm good.
If the bill passes, it would retroactively affect cases like Lamont McIntyre. He was just 17 when he was arrested and eventually convicted. McIntyre spent all of his 20s and 30s in prison.
It's a bittersweet thing. It's not all good, like where it's like, I'm free, I'm good, thanks, I'm great. Now what? How you doing, man?
How you doing? Good to see you.
McIntyre and two other men who were wrongfully convicted recently sat down in our studios to discuss what happened to them. These men lost decades.
There's stuff that'll never come back. You know, there's stuff that you'll never be able to do. You know,
That's tough.
Now my kids are like grown adults. They have their own lives. You know, they don't call me Dad. They call me Floyd. They call another man Dad.
The proposed legislation would affect all three men we interviewed: Lamont McIntyre, Richard Jones, and Floyd Bledsoe.
Have you been able to find a job, or what do you plan on doing?
No, I haven't been able to find a job. I really honestly don't know what I want to do.
The compensation law would help these men start over. It's modeled after the program in Texas. It would offer $80,000 a year in compensation for each year a person spent in prison. The person who was wrongfully convicted or exonerated could petition the court.
All three of us are 41 years old. We have zero retirement. Most people at 40 are looking forward to another 10, maybe 20 more years of retiring. We don't have that.
I think a lot of people are surprised that there's nothing for you. I mean, you guys are literally just, okay, goodbye. You get less than somebody who...
I think that's why Kansas do what they do, because they don't have to compensate anybody for anything that they do, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not a problem to them.
If the legislation passes, McIntyre could receive more than $1.8 million. Jones would receive $1.3 million, and Bledsoe would get more than $1.2 million. These three men make it clear compensation isn't about money. It's about accountability. They question what happens when there is none.
I was illiterate to the law, so they took advantage of me. That's a predator to me, but who cares? They continue, they're doing this to somebody right now as we speak. Who cares?
If everyone else is held accountable for their actions, then the justice system should be held accountable also.
There has been proposed legislation in Kansas before, but honestly, it never went anywhere. This issue has never had the momentum like it does right now. McIntyre's case is so outrageous and highlights exactly what can happen. As for McIntyre, he's a 41-year-old student barber. Next year, he'll be a 42-year-old college freshman. He hasn't ruled out a civil lawsuit. We'll keep you posted on everything. Angie Racono, KCTV5 News.